Young Justice, episode 6, review slash breakdown. Let's begin. And as we first start, we see little Artemis reading a book called Through the Looking Glass and What Alice Found There. That's actually the name of the episode. And her sister coming in saying after she left the house, this is a continuation from last episode. How you doing, little sis? What's going on? Yada, yada, yada. And arguing about, their father and the things that are going on. And then as we fast forward, we go to present day, April 19th in Star City. And she's like, why did you call me? I told you to only call me if my daughter's in trouble. That's the only real emergency I care about. And Artemis and the mom is talking. Artemis is like, I need your help. We got these two moles. I need you to identify if they're telling the truth or not. And she's like, I'm out of the shadows. I don't want to do nothing with that. And she's like, I'm out of here. And then Artemis reminds her, hey, the shadows follow me to the house. And this house is where your daughter stays. So, yeah, you better help me or something bad could happen to your daughter. Which is very weird how much she cares about her daughter, but she doesn't see her daughters. I love it for story dynamics, but it's just very weird. And now we fast forward to Hollywood. As you know, that's where Beast Boy stays. He's a star. And as you can see the title right there, Artemis Through the Looking Glass. And they're trying to say, hey, Beast Boy, there's this mission. Hey, come on, join us. Come with us. But as you know, Beast Boy is still going through it. You can see the look on his face. It's just, he looks tired, beaten down, just looking horrible. Because, Superboy died and he's trying to, get over that loss. So as we fast forward back, you can see, I don't know who this girl is. For some reason, I'm like, is this Starfire? Because she got the hair and the eyes. So I don't know. And I don't think they said the name, but she's trying to interrogate, get into the minds of these two ex-shadows, apparently. And she tells Artemis, hey, Artemis, I'm not Miss Martian. I really can't get into their minds. I don't know if they're moles or not. And Artemis has to, say, all right, got to figure this out. Got to figure out what's going on. And it brings her back to a flashback of her talking with her sister. And the sister's their father coming in just yelling at her like, you thought you could make it on your own, huh? And she's like, I am making it on my own. Stubborn. I don't need you and I don't need anybody. Which brings us back to Artemis sitting what we think is alone, but she's just sitting pondering about, what's going on with her life and everything in between. I'm actually really enjoying these last two episodes. I love it because this is, the Young Justice I fell in love with, even though the whole team is not together. It's great storytelling. And then we fast forward to this guy with one leg. And we're like, all right, he's probably an army guy because, I don't think he's a superhero walking his dog. And then you find out, and I think we saw him but couldn't remember, oh, that's Artemis's boyfriend. Now, as an anime fan, you realize this is just, this is not even anime. As a cartoon fan, as a DC fan, just seeing her cozy up to another guy, and I'm just getting mad on the inside out. How dare you do this to Wally? How dare you dishonor Wally? But I'm like, you know what? He's been gone for so long, and she has to move on. So you're kind of happy for her, but it is sad at the same time, because we all know her to be with Wally, and then now she introduces her boyfriend to her sister who pops up, and she's telling him the truth. Like, hey, my sister is, she's a spy. She does a lot of things. And he's like, yeah, right. So they meet. The dog doesn't like the sister automatically. So that's a good dog. He can smell the evil on her. And, they just have a quick conversation about, who he is. He's talking with the sister and, now it's get down to business. They both looking at each other, talking, and Artemis is like, "I need your help to identify what's going on." And she's like, "Artemis, I really don't want to do it, but I'm here to help you." And also talk about the guy, and she's happy that she's moving on. If you realize, Artemis and her sister have very tumultuous lives with men. As far as men, it's just the things with them and men is just very weird. So as they're sitting down, we see a shot of the spider guy. I don't know his name. And we just see a red glowing arm. Not a red, what is it? Pink glowing arm. And I'm like, who in the hell is that? It reminded me of the character from Batman Beyond. I thought that was him. What was it? All something Powers, because he was just like a skeletal guy. But as we go on, Artemis is at the cave, and what does she find? She finds Orphan, who has not left her post from the night before. And this other character is telling her, like, hey, yeah, she won't leave for some reason. And Artemis is like, well, she gotta leave. It's time. You can leave. Go home. If you don't leave, I'm gonna tell Batman what you think would let everybody know. Are you gonna tell Batman? All right, it's time for me to get up. I'll leave. But she doesn't leave. And then who pops in? Artemis' sister, Cheshire, which immediately sends Orphan into, oh, it's time to fight. I know who she is. And let's go. And Artemis is like, whoa, calm down. She's here to help us. No need to fight. She's here to help us solve this problem that's been going on. And then as we go, we see Beast Boy just flipping through channels, seeing Brion, who's bringing in all metahumans and saying, come to Markovia. We'll get you. And apparently it's messing up his country. A lot of people don't like that. And they're fleeing Markovia because of, I guess, a new influx of metahumans, which is very weird. But I'm pretty sure we'll get to that storyline at some point into the season. And we go back to see Cheshire interrogating Onyx and Vandal Savage's daughter, just giving them what are you doing here? Doing all the tricks that she's learned, all the different things, the methods, even holding a knife up to Onyx's throat, trying to scare her. And she's like, I don't believe you. You're doing all the things that would make me think you're lying. And she says, well, I grew up in the shadow since I was 11, so this is the only way I know, which was a good comeback. It makes sense. And she's talking to Vandal Savage's daughter, saying, hey, why would you leave? Vandal killed my sister. You got to believe me. I wouldn't just leave the light and everything. There's a reason why. And then she comes back to Artemis and says, either they're both telling the truth or they're both lying. So we're back to square one. They're trained to do that. So it's hard for her to tell, which is a fair point. And then we see the little spider character has infiltrated their little hideout. And then the fight begins because the other guy, I forgot his name, the skeletal looking guy, he just couldn't help himself. He's like, I'm going to kill her now. I got the opportunity. And he starts to, punch her face into the wall. And then the fight begins. Artemis is like, I think we're going to need more help. So she frees Onyx and said, if you're really not a mole, help us take these people down. And then they start to fight, take down the skeletal guy. At one point, Artemis cut his arm off, and he just got it right back. So that's very scary for the future. The spider guy is throwing his web balls around, and he loves throwing his web balls around. And something unexpected happens. As we're watching it, you see unauthorized entry to the cave, to the hideout. And you're like, well, who's that? Who's there? And then Lady Shiva pops up and grabs Orphan. And I said it at the time, but I was just like, I'm like, man, they look very similar when she took the mask off. I'm like, okay, she got scars on her face. And then she's saying, listen, I'm going to take this girl. You give me back what's mine. And if you don't, I'm going to kill her. And we're like, wow, that's, well, she ain't joking. And she grabs all of her soldiers and just leaves. And this is when Cheshire tells Artemis, like, hey, that's her daughter. I recognize her daughter from anywhere. She's not going to kill her daughter. There's no reason to go after her. Just, count it as a loss. If you want to keep these two, keep them. But she ain't going to kill her daughter. She put her through all the worst psychological torture. She's not going to kill her. And she's like, Artemis is like, no, we gotta save her. And she's like, well, I didn't sign up for that. Let me out. I'm leaving. And she turns around. Artemis, lets her out. And then it brings her back to her childhood memory of when her sister always leaves her behind. And she's just there waiting for her to come back. Waiting and waiting, reading a book to pass the time. And her father comes in, throws the book away and said, you gave your sister all of our food. And now she's gone. You got to be the dumbest, whatever. And now, even though your arm's broke, we're doing boxing training. One-arm boxing training. That shows you how their father was. And Artemis said something that, about Lady Shiva killing her daughter. She's like, our dad was brutal, but I don't think he would ever kill us. So that lets you know the light and how they treat their kids and how there's a dichotomy. And Artemis is just out of it. She's like, this girl always does this. I'm sick of this. It brought her back to her childhood. And it's kind of sad because she's been through a lot, but she's holding on. And that's including what happened with Wally. So fast forward and Halo comes in like, I'm ready for guard duty. And she's like, what in the world happened here? And fast forward, they're in the Caribbean Sea. It's April 20th. By the way, all this, one thing I love about Young Justice, they give you dates. All of this episode happened within 2 days. It started on April 19th from when they met. And I did my last video showed how last episode happened between 3 months of Connor dying and what we're seeing now. One thing you gotta love about Young Justice, they give great timelines. And now her, Onyx and Vandal Savage daughter, is on the bike, and she's like, Santa Prisca, here we come. Or here I come. I can't remember which one it was, but overall, just like another fantastic episode, fantastic storytelling. I'm really starting to love the season more and more. The first 3 episodes started off slow, but it's picking up. They're doing individual storylines, but it's going to lead to something. There's a lot of shows on TV, but I really believe like nothing makes me feel better than Young Justice. It's always good. I hate that they're doing 1 episode a week because it's only 20 minutes, and that's annoying me, but it's still great storytelling, characters that we love, and I think they're doing an outstanding job this season. And at the end, they had this thing with Superboy that I said, okay, I guess we're going to be doing poems and Superboy pictures for the end of the season, or for whatever either they resolve the storyline or not. You know how these writers are. We may not see Superboy for another 2 seasons or maybe never. Who knows, whatever their plans are. But I thought it was funny. In this picture, he's playing chess against Miss Martian, and she's just in white. She's white Martian, not in her Megan thing. And he just look at the love in his eyes. And it's like, we got to give Connor Kent credit, Superboy credit, because he really loved Miss Martian. Because, I don't think a lot of us would accept the Martian the way, especially in her regular form, how she looks. But he just looking at her, loving her. And obviously he can't beat her in chess because she knows what he's about to do before he does it. So I'm pretty sure he's losing this game. That's just my thoughts. But that's my Young Justice episode 6 review. I loved it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. And I can't wait for next week's episode. This season is really picking up, and I can't wait to see where we go from here. All right. See you next time.